Hello, it's Crystal Hill, and this is my first live stream from Meeton. Happy Monday morning to those of you in Australia. Today, I'm going to talk about the void, transitions, shame, expectations, and changing frameworks, and how you can become part of the conversation by joining our upcoming anthology, Corporate to Conscious Stories of Courage to Live an Aligned Life. I've just been having the most amazing conversations with people who are going to join. So, one beautiful lady, a fellow German, we were talking on Friday about that transition from corporate into our purpose work. And now I want to make a big disclaimer. I believe that you can have your purpose work in corporate, but sometimes the culture or the way you approach things may need to shift in order for it to be even more aligned. But in this case, what we're looking for is women and men who are either in transition currently and have one foot in both camps, corporate and their own work, or who are fully in corporate and are preparing to make the jump, or those who have been in their own business for 10, 15, 20 years and reflecting back on what that was like and what it is like continuously to navigate. Now, I do believe collectively this is a really important time to bring a book like this into the collective awareness, to give permission to those people who are still doubting. They're still like in that timeline of where they should be in that expectation. And they would love to be on that timeline, but there's fear holding them back. Now, I've been listening to a lot of kind of people who are channeling, and the message always is fear is not real. It is our frequency that matters, that determines what we attract into our lives. So if our frequency is fear-based, of course, we're going to regenerate and repeat these fearful scenarios that reinforce the fact, oh yeah, I have a reason to be afraid. But if we manage to make that shift, to move into that, no, today is a beautiful day. I am coming from my heart. My heart is full. And then the universe, the world, the electromagnetic frequency will have to match that and bring you that fullness. And I've been playing with this for a few months now, and I am finally coming out of the void of and coming out of the other side. Like as the Lion's Gate was opening, I'm now coming out into that. I'm actually going to, but while I'm talking, because this is my first time, I'm actually just going to check on Facebook if I am live, because that would be a shame if this was disappearing into the void. Yes, I am live. Wonderful. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. So what happens with any massive major transition? We don't just move from one being fully embodied in the fear reality or in corporate or in what is expected of us, to moving all the way into, yeah, I live an abundant life, I have everything I want, I'm living in my wish fulfilled reality. There is a period of change, like the caterpillar transforms into the butterfly, has to go into the cocoon. And in many respects, I've been in the cocoon for a little while now, and the cocoon feels really uncomfortable. What happened to me, and you might be able to relate to this, and this is speaking into this void when we're making a major transition. It's also speaking to this thing when we're coming from corporate, moving into something. We often don't know what that is. It's like, yeah, I just know I need to get out, whether you're forced to get out due to a health crisis or whether you're just making the jump and allowing your time or yourself the time and the spaciousness. There are these expectations that are coming towards us saying, well, what are you going to do? All of that, or we're bringing the corporate mindset into our business, which then creates just another cage, another container that is kind of narrowing our creative expression. And so that's what I was talking to with this contributor jumping on board on Friday, that this transition then actually creates a lot of shame, right? So you're moving out of one, but you're not fully yet in the other. and then the expectations, friends, colleagues wanting your best, asking you, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that can create this massive shame, this massive fear, and also an element of shame because, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. Am I supposed to know? No, you're supposed to be in the void and embrace being exactly where and where you are in that moment. And I've noticed in my business lately, I've been in the void. I've had to really, really think about, well, it's almost like renewing the intention, renewing the reason why I do what I do, renewing that purpose, because we're upgrading, up leveling so much in our lives and in our energy with everything that's happening planetarily, with the astrology and all of the things. So I've been in that void myself, and the way it expressed itself was I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything. I felt burned out. I felt sluggish. I had no energy and no life force. Like I didn't want to do anything. Everything just felt like, oh, do I have to? Um, and so I allowed myself to just be a little bit slower than usual. But lately, that energy, I feel like I've come out, and now there is this, okay, let's do all of the things that I've always wanted to do, and do lives and show up and be visible so that I can be a magnet for those of like-minded frequency to come in, so that we can find each other, so that we can collaborate with one another and create, in my case right now, this book, where we look at transitions of coming and the courage that it takes to really step into a more aligned version of who we are, where we live from a fullness, where we live from the possibility, where we live from love and sharing and joy and doing what feels right in every moment, rather than worrying about, oh, I should be doing this right now, and then going into a spiral of shame. It's like, oh my God, society says this, my inner voice says that I should be doing this, but it doesn't feel right. And so giving ourselves permission to excuse me, giving ourselves permission to pause and to be and to feel, well, what do I want to do right now? What feels aligned in this moment? What does excite me? And that is also a conversation often I have when it comes to people joining a collaborative book. It's like, oh, this is a big investment. Yeah. And is your heart saying yes? Is your soul singing because it knows that when you're writing your story of courage, when you're reflecting on your journey, clarity will come. And out of that clarity, there'll be a greater magnetism, because you drop more deeply, more fully into you, into who you are. And the process of writing and being witnessed in your writing and in that journey, and then being read in a book, that transformation, that alchemy, will magnetize you into the thought leader that you are, aligning truly with who you really are. And so that journey for me is priceless. I have seen it, oh yeah, hundreds of times actually. It's seen it happening with so many people, who come out a new version of themselves, combining the launch of the book with the launch of a new program, having more momentum, to feeling more courageous to be visible. And so, if you are feeling called to share your story from corporate to conscious, or from misaligned to aligned, and the courage that it took, and the phases of transformation that you may have gone through, and all the voices, all the doubts, all the fears that came up that you had to overcome in order to choose you, and choose you again and again and again. That's what that's the stories that I'd love to share in this book, to give permission to those who are in that process of awakening, in that process of wanting to come, but feeling they need external permission, or feel that they can't allow themselves to make that jump because it's just way too scary. So in terms of practicalities, we are starting the second week of September. and we are launching the book on the 21st of November, just 1 week before Black Friday. So you can craft an offer that is coinciding with the launch. So we're going to have a big launch event on the 21st. Going to invite everybody's communities. You can make an offer there to invite them to a masterclass or to something else that will bring them closer into your world, them being the readers, everybody's communities that we're gathering together, so that you can launch something special in November for Black Friday, or just even just before Black Friday, and really finish the year with this big achievement of having written a book, having become a published author. Or if you are already a published author, I'm holding my book in my hands here because that's me. This is what I've achieved this year. If you are already a published author, perhaps it's about creating more visibility, creating like this little ignition, like this little excitement in your business, this reason to celebrate yourself, to celebrate your community, and to celebrate the programs that you can offer to bring everyone together. That's what it's all about. So if this is resonating with you, if you'd love more information, drop me an emoji below. I will send it to you. You can also go to my website, hillhouse.org. And I'll drop the link in the comments. Corporate to Conscious is that book that we are going to co-create. And if you feel like there's somebody that needs to hear this message, please tag them below. And I look forward to sharing more of my musings, my realizations from the conversations that I have with people who are joining the book and beyond. Thank you so much. Bye for now.